you for inviting me to speak about the Zonta Club. And as I mentioned earlier in our brief little conversation, the Zonta Club and your club seem to have a lot in common. We're 90 years old, 100 years old, over 100 years old. So we've been around for a long time and doing a lot of great work in our local communities. So it's a pleasure to be here. And having good women around us is definitely one of the pleasures of being in a club, such as a women's club or the Zonta Club. So I'm going to speak tonight about the Zonta Club of Trenton Mercer, which is part of Zonta International. And as you can see, we're celebrating. We were formed in 1931. And so we're just ending our celebration of our 90th year. And we're part of Zonta International, which was 100 in 2019. So our causes, Zonta stands for women's rights. And so we advocate for equality, education, and an end to child marriage, which is one of the big international projects they have going on right now, and also against gender-based violence. And the programs of Zonta locally and internationally are to expand opportunities for women and girls through education programs and also service projects. So just to start off telling you a little bit about Zonta International. Zonta International is an organization that's made up of clubs, 31,000 individuals in 1,133 clubs in 65 different countries throughout the world. So it's very much an international organization. And every other year, there's a convention that brings people from all over the world together. So this year, the conference is going to be in Hamburg, Germany. And I've been in the club since 1998. And during that time, there have been conferences in Paris, Australia, Netherlands, New York City, Torino, Italy, Japan, and other places. So I've never been to an international conference, but I think at least 3 of our members are going to Hamburg in July, and they all tell us that it's a wonderful experience because you get to spend time with women who have the same perspective as you do with service and raising up women at these conferences. So one of the main goals of Zonta is to improve women's health and provide better economic opportunities and prevent gender-based violence against women. So since its first service project, the Zonta International has spent over $32 million on specific service projects. So they always have like 4 or 5 different projects going on throughout the world. Right now, they have a project going on in Madagascar for helping children get access to education. In Peru, they are working with adolescent girls on health and protection against violence against women. And one of the main issues that they're focused on is ending child marriage, which they are working on actually in 12 different countries in Africa and Asia. And they've really picked this as their primary project, and they're focusing on it for 15 years. They've already spent $3.7 million focused on working with other organizations to end child marriage. And just a couple of child bride facts that I'd like to share, that it's estimated that 650 million women that are alive today were married as girls. And child brides are often pulled out of school, and they're at a greater risk of violence being trapped in poverty and serious health complications or even death due to pregnancy. Globally, 1 in 5 girls were married before the age of 18, and about 250 million women were married before age 15. 90% of adolescent pregnancies in the developing world are to girls who are already married. And early marriage doubles a teenager's chance of living in poverty and triples the likelihood that she will be beaten by her spouse compared to married adults. So it's a major issue on a global level. However, it's not just globally. When we think about this, child marriage is also a main issue in the United States. And it's not something that we think about that often because it might not be in our circle of friends, but there were approximately 248,000 children who were married in the United States between 2000 and 2010. And the vast majority of those were girls wed to adult men, much, much older. So it is a big problem. Just last July, New York State became only the 6th state that prohibits marriage before 18. New Jersey is one of the states that does have that prohibition, but Delaware, Minnesota, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island are the only states that have that requirement. All other states allow marriage before 18, and 20 states don't have any minimum requirement at all. So that is one of the main reasons why they're trying to change this, because it really does impact the status of women and your lifelong trajectory for most women that do get married as child brides. So all of the projects that Zonta International does is in collaboration with the United Nations. And the reason for that is Zonta International is a non-governmental organization of the United Nations. And the organization brings concerns to the UN, they suggest solutions, they draft public attention to issues, and they encourage its members to participate at the local level. And they, Zonta members have offices at the United Nations in Geneva, New York, Paris, and Vienna. So one of the perks for being in the Zonta Club is that every year in New York City, during the Violence Against Women Week, women Zontans from all over the world come to New York City to attend those meetings. And the New York City Zonta Club has a gathering of anyone that's in town for that event, and other clubs like the New Jersey clubs and New York clubs to come and participate and attend a dinner, which is, I've gone to at least 5 of those dinners, and I have to say they're really fun. They have an impressive list of different speakers that come. And also, this is a picture from the table I was sitting at the last time I was there. And so that's me here, I'm pointing at, and Denise Erb, also a member of the Zonta Club. And this woman here is in the Zonta Club, and all the other members are were international visitors, and they all are Zontans. And so it was really very enjoyable to have a meal with everyone, and to hear about what they're doing in their club along the same lines as preventing violence against women. Another perk is that you get invited to different events. And so this was Youth Day in New York City that I went to in 2018. And they had youth from all over the United States. And then they had speakers that were here from internationally talking about work that they're doing at the high school level in different countries. And then locally here in our club, we, I guess about 15 years ago, we started the UN Day of the Family event at the Mercer County Library. So worked collaboratively with the Mercer County Commission on the Status of Women, and they co-sponsor the event. And every year we have an essay contest and an art contest, and we send it out to all of the schools in Mercer County, and we invite them, the children, to participate by writing an essay of what family means to me, or draw a picture. So it's a very, very fun event. We get about 1,000 entries every year, and the county executive or the county director of Human Services attends, as well as members of the Commission on the Status of Women. And the families come and they bring their families. So the children that won, they bring their grandmothers, their aunts, their brothers and sisters, and it's always a really wonderful event. And the stories, the essays that the children write are just really so memorable. They're awesome. There's just a couple pictures from that. And then also the Zontas have, besides our local club is part of a district and an area. So district-wide, that includes New York City, Long Island, all of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C. And every other year there's a conference that all our members are invited to. So that was just a couple months ago, and 4 of our members attended that conference or the convention. And that's our club president there holding that certificate, which our club won an award for all of its service projects. So we were very excited about that. And then Zonta International offers a number of scholarships. So Zonta International, their Women in Business Scholarship, which is the Jane Klossman scholarship. That scholarship is number 3 on the Forbes list of top scholarships for women. And so that's offered at the local level, the district level, and then the international level. So someone could apply to the local club, and if they were selected, our club would give them a $500 scholarship. And then we would pass their name and their credentials on to the district, and they could win at the district level. And then if they won at the district level, they could then go on to the international for an international scholarship. So essentially they could get $10,500 in scholarships through this initiative. And then there's other scholarships. Every year we have an Zonta International has an Amelia Earhart scholarship. And that was established in 1938 in honor of famed pilot and Zontian, Amelia Earhart. And it's a $10,000 fellowship, and it's awarded annually to up to 35 women who are pursuing a PhD or doctoral degree in aerospace engineering or some type of space science. And we've had many Amelia Earhart, because I guess being on this East Coast and having so much access to so many colleges, we've had a number of the Amelia Earhart winners actually in our area, between attending schools at Drexel, Rutgers, Princeton, and they've come and done presentations to our club about what they're learning about or what projects they're working on on their PhD that are in aeroscience. And it's pretty remarkable what they do. And these young women, you can tell that they're going places, and that they will be very successful in life. And I think I have written down here somewhere about what they've grown. Oh yes, it says Zonta Amelia Earhart fellows have gone on to become astronauts, aerospace engineers, astronomers, professors, geologists, business owners, heads of companies, and even Secretary of the U.S. Air Force. And there were 36 recipients in 2021. Another scholarship that Zonta International has is the Young Women in Public Affairs Scholarship, which is for high school students. And that was established in 1990. And that scholarship is also on the local level as well as the district and the international level. So actually, we had a young woman who won that scholarship here locally from New Hope, Pennsylvania this year. And she is off to college in Caltech for this school year. So we were able to give her a $500 scholarship. A couple of years ago, we had one of our women in public affairs go on to the international level and was able to get a $5,000 scholarship at the international level, one of the local applicants. And actually, we've had a number of them come to our club and present about the service that they do. This woman, Young Women in Public Affairs, is really focused on advocacy, activism, and service. And we also have a local scholarship, that the Grace Broninger Scholarship, and that is for women who are returning to the workplace, who have stopped their education and then have decided to go back to college. And this was last year's winner. And she's a student at Mercer County Community College going back to school for nursing. And so she received a $2,000 scholarship. And the main part of what we do is advocacy and education. And we're focused on a world without violence, especially for women. And every year, every club throughout the entire world right now focuses on the 16 days of activism, which are 16 days between November 25th and December 10th. And that's November 25th is the International Day Against Violence Against Women, and December 10th is International Human Rights Day. So every club does something different, and just to really, focus on advocacy during that year, that 16-day period. Typically, what we do in our club is focus on writing articles, writing letters to the editor. We actually put a billboard on the side of New Jersey Transit buses this year, and we've done that for the last 2 or 3 years. And so that sign that says "Join the campaign, Zonta says no," we hired New Jersey Transit to run that on their buses for a month. And the great part about that is they didn't take them off their buses. I guess they didn't have somebody else behind us this year, and so for months after they were posted, we were still seeing the buses running around Mercer County with our billboard on the side of their bus. Also, we just post a lot of advocacy issues on our website, on our Facebook page during those 16 days. So I'm just going to scroll through to some of these postings that we have. I'm not going to explain them to you because they're self-evident, but just to show you that this is part of what the advocacy that we do is try to bring attention to different types of violence against women, and about child brides, and gender violence isn't just a women's problem, just trying to really focus on it being a family issue, and that men have a major role in helping eliminate violence against women. Before the pandemic, we actually had a booth or a table at the Quaker Bridge Mall, and we were giving out over a 2-day period ribbons and talking to all the men that we could talk to in the mall about gender-based violence and how they could step up and take a role in preventing this. And then equal pay for women. Of course, that's a huge issue. And we try to really focus on that. And 30% of women who have been in a relationship report that they have experienced some form of physical or sexual violence by their partner. And 38% of murders of women are committed by an intimate partner. And the first sexual experience of some 30% of women was forced. And 45% of those under 15 at the time of their sexual initiation report that their experience was forced. Oops, I'm on the wrong slide, but anyway, I think that's just really compelling data, and it's part of what we try to focus on. Also, in the last year, we decided as part of our advocacy that we were going to have a book club just to educate our own members and just to hear about other issues that go along with the Zonta mission. So we've had 3 book clubs gatherings so far. The first one was a moment of lift, and then we followed that with Radium Girls, and what's the other one? Oh, I Am Malala. We just actually finished in January. We just had that book club meeting. So I think the next book that we're going to be reading and discussing is Anita Hill's book, Believing. So that's another part of our advocacy. And then at our meetings, most of our meetings, we try to have a guest speaker, and just to also bring information and enlighten our members about different topics in our local community. And we bring in a lot of nonprofit organizations that come in and they can speak about the concerns of their agencies. And of course, we have fundraising. So fundraising, you can't really do a lot of service without fundraising. It's something that probably, for me, that's like the thing I don't like the most about being in a club, is that you have those fundraising responsibilities. But you know, the reality is you can't do much unless you have money to help do it. So we do have a fundraising event every year. Maybe sometimes we've had more. This is the last live event that we had, which was a casino night. But we've also had Paint and Sips. We've had Gourmet Garden, which is food and wine tasting. And many years ago, we had fashion shows as well, when that was a popular fundraising event. But the good thing about fundraising is fund distribution. So after the work that goes into the fundraising, we are able to give out grants every year, and that is a major part of what we do. So we try to spend the money that we make, and we spend between $10,000 and $20,000 a year. Picture here is with Mary Gay Abbott, who's the executive director, CEO of the Rescue Mission, and Denise Erb right here. She was our club president at the time, but the Rescue Mission opened a home for women, a transitional housing for women. So they had 5 women living that were going to be living in this renovated home. And the Zonta Club gave $10,000 to renovate the kitchen in that home. So that was one of our big projects. And that was actually in 2019 in celebration of 100 years of Zonta International. We've also recently given out a $5,000 check to Children's Home Society for their doula program to help urban women with their childbearing issues. Just a few months ago, we gave Anchor House a $5,000 check for equine therapy for the adolescent homeless girls that are in their house, in Anchor House. And we give out local funds. So this is us presenting a check to a local mom who was having challenges at Christmas time. And so we give out a number of checks each year of $250 to local women that have families and are struggling, and somebody's identified that they are struggling. And then we also give out little end of the year scholarships to Franklin Elementary School students. We've adopted Franklin Elementary School because it was where one of our deceased past presidents was a teacher at. And so every year we give out 6 small little grants to graduating elementary school students with the funds that we raised. We also gave out, we also do a lot of projects at Better Beginnings Daycare Center in Hightstown. And this year, with the pandemic, we thought, you know, these teachers are really heroic and we should honor them in some way, not just have something for the children. So we bought gift cards for every one of the teaching staff members and went over and celebrated their staff with them. And we also provide funds every year for Life Ties for their adolescent homeless residents. And we give to the Zonta International Foundation so we can support the work on an international level as well as the local level. One of our service projects, we do a lot of service projects, and one of our fun service projects was a bra drive-by. We collected 1,100 bras and we sent them over to El Salvador. And so women who have been trafficked are able to take those bras and sell them. They're new or gently used bras. They sell them in their community, and it really keeps them safe. It gives them the opportunity to earn a living and to be able to support their families and to stop from being trapped, you know, to stay out of the trafficked life. We've also put together comfort kits for women who are going through chemotherapy and donated them to Capital Health System. At Franklin Elementary School, we donate 150 backpacks and school supplies every year. There's Pat Demers. And this was just our last holiday party that we had in December. And we do a lot of our service projects every year, about 4 or 5 service projects at that holiday party. And this was one of the tables of projects that we were doing, which was wrapping books for Better Beginnings, so that every child at Better Beginnings would be able to go home with a little package of books for the holidays. And we also had the members donate, you know, those little bottles of shampoo and conditioner from the hotels and put them together and make personal hygiene kits. And the members donated pajamas and socks and brought those to Women's Space with the personal hygiene kits. And these are a pile of clothing that members donated for Children's Home Society for their foster children. And we do Meals on Wheels distribution on Thanksgiving in collaboration with the Zonta, with the Kiwanis Club of Trenton, and Strike Out Hunger with the United Way. Salvation Army, you know, ring the bell every year. These packages are all part of the Salvation Army Angels Wings, where each of our members selects a child and is able to go shopping for that particular child, and we donate those. We participate in Read Across America and Early Mercer Reads, which are reading and literacy educational initiatives. And for our 90th year, which we just wrapped up, as I mentioned, we decided to do something extra special. And so over a 6-month period, we asked all our members to donate socks, pants, shoes, jackets, boots, diapers, wipes, and we collected all of those different items and donated them to Children's Home Society, who's opening a child care center on Liberty Street in Trenton, an early Head Start program. And excuse me, that will be, they'll be setting up a closet so that families will be able to access. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. So they'll be able to access those clothes. Trunk or treat. We do a trunk or treat event every year at the Boys and Girls Club. And we participate in the Amelia Earhart Day. As I mentioned, she was a member of the Zonta Club of New York. And so on an international level, every year we do celebrate Amelia and how she broke the mold for women. And we support a Z Club, which is a high school level club. And that's at Willingboro High School in Burlington County. And we like to have fun. So even on our Zoom calls and when we have our meetings, we do try to, we have good meetings. We share a lot of information and we try to have fun and smile a lot. And this was our club president, Judy, with showing off our award that we got and celebrating that with a champagne with all of the members. So that's pretty much an overview of what we do, what we stand for, what we're all about.